Thank you for joining XROM, which is India's first AR/VR focused podcast. And today I'm delighted and honored to have with me Mr. Arijit Bhattacharyya, who's the founder of one of the first game development studio from India, Virtualinfocom, and he's doing some superbly interesting thing. He's a serial entrepreneur, he's an investor, he's got his own events, he's developing games. So thank you, Arijit. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. So since you're doing so many things, I thought it would make more sense if you give a brief introduction and maybe we can continue the conversation from there.
I started the company called Virtualinfocom, which started producing games, who mainly produces superhero-based games. So we actually take real actor and actress as a superhero character. We do their shooting in a studio. We have our own studio here in Calcutta, and convert them into a 3D superhero character, create the game with our own universe. The stories are actually done by us, and the kind of story that we do is actually related to epic and mythology from various different parts of the world. And till date, we have converted 350 plus characters worldwide, which includes India's first superhero called Shaktiman. And there we had Mr. Mukesh Khanna, who acted as Shaktiman himself. Along with that, multiple different movie-based games that we created. Apart from that, I invest in startups. So I already invested in approximate 27 startups till date. Took exit from 3 as of now. I rigorously mentor startups, give them guidance, do the business mentoring. I consult to banks. I help corporates to go for strategic investment into a particular country. So talking about the same, we created an ecosystem called World Leader Summit as an event, which is around 96 countries business network at the moment with 35,000 members into our network. I run a merger acquisition and startup help platform called Entrepreneur Face. That's the company that we registered here in India to grow the startups and get the funding done, and then grow their network out of India. And eventually we started an accelerator of our own. It's called Co-Innovate Ventures, which is a pretty new accelerator that we started with our own fund of $25 million. Apart from that, I am the jury member of Startup India Award for the last 3 years, serve as a mentor and advisor into so many number of accelerators and incubation centers, including IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, including IIT Kharagpur, Seed Stars, Techstars, Founder Institute, IIDF, which is Russia's biggest fund and accelerator, and I serve as a board of advisor into a couple of Chamber of Commerce, which is WASME, and of course the Media Entertainment Event Council, and a university based out of Delhi, a couple of 2 more universities based out of US, and 1 university based out of Dubai. Try to help the startups grow. Avid lover, technologist, a self-taught programmer, self-taught artist.
I'm so very happy that I didn't take the onus of doing the introduction, because I mean, you are doing so many things, and kudos to you, and you are an example and inspiration. So keep on doing what you're doing. Wish you the very best. And Infocom, let's start with there, because you've been one of the first game development companies from India. So talk to us a little bit about that, because you have developed quite a lot of 2D games. The 2D medium obviously has taken around 100 years to evolve, and then right now from the 2D we've gone into the 3D world, and then now we are exploring virtual reality games, and there's not many studios here in India which is concentrating on virtual reality games, and you've been building some virtual reality games. So yes, I would want you to talk about this transition. I mean, is this transition gonna be short-lived, like how the 3D platform itself was, like the 3D movies, or do you think that this is the future?
Sure. Let me first show you one of the character. This is an actor from Bengal. His name is Mainak. And the game that we did was Nilanjana, which is a movie-based game for the promotion of that particular game. And we became their partner. So you can see the character in the inset, and you can see the 3D character as a character, which is pretty common in nowadays. But remember, when we did that, this game we did, I think, if I'm not wrong, it was 2015. So the Indian capacity and the technology was not the same like 2022. You are watching this, right? XR, and when we look at metaverse as a concept is not a new one. It's a new reformed name, to be very, very honest.
Fair enough.
There used to be, there used to be a platform called Second Life, if
Right.
you heard about that. It's an evolved part of Second Life as a platform itself, which is enabling users to go completely into a 3D platform, do the shopping, interact, communicate, live a life just like a digital life into a 3D digital platform. Virtual reality as a business will take some time for India to achieve the way the Western world is doing. As a price sensitive customer, VR devices till date is not that cheap, so that you can buy it just like you're buying a smartphone, right? It's not possible for Indian all consumers to buy a VR headset, which is a proper VR headset. I'm not talking about a piece of plastic which enables you to enter a smartphone and you get a 3D glass and you enjoy VR. We are talking about real proper VR glasses, wherein you have a processor inside, you have a RAM inside, you have a cloud network inside. It's an individual device, right? We are talking about that. That has got tremendous future if we are talking about education as a platform, defense as a platform, if we talk about automotive, if we talk about remote work. Nowadays, XR is playing a great role. I know multiple number of our consumers who are utilizing normal automotive and normal automation process utilizing extended reality solution. Now, it can be a company who is producing maybe aircraft engines. We have one of the client based out of Australia using it. It can be a oil rigging company who is probably using XR technology to train their people how to go for oil rigging, how to go for stacking, whether it's a horizontal stacking or vertical stacking. I can go on with this, like healthcare industries witnessing tremendous growth utilizing this extended reality as a technology. Where exactly you get these implementation? To be very honest, India is adopting. Slowly we are getting there. Due to COVID, lot many structures has been updated, Eddie. Lot many structures has been updated. But if you ask me, I personally feel augmented reality plays more vital and bigger market rather than virtual reality.
AR is more legit at this point in time because we already have smartphones, and we have smartphones which can, you don't need to invest in virtual reality headsets, which are pretty much expensive at this point in time. But if you go to see, just 10 years back, the Oculus Quest headset was selling with the computer was for somewhere around, because it needed was tethered to the PC, was somewhere around $3,000. But right now the Oculus Quest 2 model, which is untethered, you don't need a PC, and it's somewhere around $299-300. And then there's Geo, which is working on virtual reality headset. They're also working on mixed reality headset, and I think maybe in this decade itself we will have VR devices. Maybe it might look like us and it look like this, and the price points could go much down, and it could converge your we won't need to carry technology, because this today we need to carry a phone and a laptop, and we won't need that, because we'll have one single wearable device, and that phone and your computer will converge into one single wearable device, a head wearable device, which will be your PC and your mobile. So I think we are going into the future, and COVID has kind of pushed us into that. And I guess what at least from my perspective, what I saw was that none of the nations could kind of mitigate the problems of the COVID, none of the nations, and I think that was because of the lack of foresight. Now, if you go to see technology, almost all of the technologies are growing, accelerating, and it's adding real world value. I do understand that it comes with these drawbacks of the price points, and it's still not seeped into industries. But as a nation, as institutes, shouldn't we be a step ahead and leverage these tools and technologies?
To be very honest, in 2019, starting, we actually converted ourselves into completely a remote network office. That process we started in 2018. The only solo reason was I was recruiting lot many people from out of India. And as a strategical structure, if you recruit that many number of people who are from various different part of the world, it was very, very difficult for me to open offices in each and every part of the world. It's just increasing the logistics and the admin cost. So what we did, we moved from a normal usual office to a complete virtual office in 2018, and the successful implementation finished in 2019. So what happened when COVID started? Before that, we were completely digital. We really didn't, wanted to have any kind of physical office. But then when COVID hit every one of us, we were never affected. The only solo reason was probably we have seen the future which is going to come. And trust me on this is going to take some amount of time for companies to understand. But in few cases, like who are into heavy industries, who are mainly into manufacturing, or the small scale MSMEs, they cannot move themselves completely into digital. They cannot. How do you convert a cloth manufacturing unit, which is a very small unit, into a VR office zone? You can probably work only the admin part of it, but not the manufacturing part. But if we talk about technological companies, yes, 100% the future is this. So if people are trying to evolve themselves from 2D to the VR world, or rather we would say probably the next generation world, yes, that's the future.
Right. So you said compared to Southeast Asia, maybe you're pointing out to South Korea and China. Yes, obviously they in fact China I think has a plan for 2030 where they have created a plan where they want to lead in virtual reality because they do understand the importance of virtual reality. In fact, I mean, just last year, the end of 2021, Facebook rebranded as Meta, and there was this huge hype around metaverse. So the reason I think the Facebook, which has been a social media company, is completely moving to virtual reality is because there is a huge opportunity or a humongous opportunity which is gonna open up in the next few years. Because earlier, people were talking about digitization, but the adoption was not there. But because of COVID, I think we've been thrusted into the digital world, and I think everybody understands the importance of digitization. In fact, my son, who's 6.5 years old, he was in obviously like a physical school, but then the school is still not functioning. It's still stopped. It's still shut. So we moved him onto online school. Now the online school, when we moved him onto an online school, I understood the difference. We were paying 3.5 lakh fees for my son's school in Bombay, and then we moved on to the school called 21K, and they are charging 56,000 rupees. It's the same curriculum. They offer almost the same thing. The only thing is it's digital. So at least for people like me, working class people, we see huge benefits of this. So I don't know whether this would add value post the COVID, but we've still not gotten over COVID. Then there's this Omicron and we are still shut. Where do you see this thing going? You mentioned that it's south, maybe the Southeast Asia and China and all those countries which are still possibly maybe really leveraging AR VR in a big way. Do you see that in India, or do you think that the Indian government should do more for creating an ecosystem that is more solid and sustainable for AR, VR, MR? Do you think that that's lacking over here in India?
If I look at India, India has got, with calculation, 1.3 billion number of our so-called Indians, right? And within this huge number of population, probably 15% to 20% would be more than interested to buy such kind of devices. And that's a huge number. If you calculate 15%, forget 15%, 10% of 1.3 billion population, that's a big number. So the strategic signing of Facebook entering into India as a digital India is huge. So as a company, they will get great number of audience, which will have much more impact and which will push eventually the industry to enter into so-called metaverse. So if you want to sell a dress, you need to go digital. You have to convert all your dresses into 3D virtual reality platform so that a person can wear a VR glass and then go into that particular VR world and choose a dress, try it on a normal trial, look that whether it fits or not, and go for a physical order. And you are right, if you look at in today's or maybe a future perspective of hardware, I've seen such kind of hardware in China long back in 2017, wherein they were converting the normal glass into a normal augmented reality glasses. And look at us, now we have got those kind of glasses in our hand, right? So the future, if we look at, it's going to be completely different than what you are watching at the moment. So I usually tell a real life situation, or rather a future situation. I did that in a couple of other speech of mine. I will give you that story to you as well. Imagine a situation that you are a normal white collar job oriented guy, or maybe an entrepreneur. You are driving back your home, and your AR glass which you're wearing, it knows each and every part of your movement, and it understands you. 5 o'clock, it knows that you usually have your espresso double shot, and when you are driving, it will ask you whether you are hungry, whether you need your usual coffee or not. You nod your head, or you give your acceptance with your maybe blink of your eyes, or you say yes with voice command. It can detect 3 different layers of your inputs, right? It can be a gesture, it can be a voice command, it can be something different, right? Once you say yes, it will find automatically the nearby coffee shop and place your order. You go there, you drive in, you just have your coffee, you drive away. What happened in the background? In today's world, these AR glasses are connected with decentralized system utilizing blockchain, and that is connected with your bank. So your payment is already done. Now that payment can be done in 2 different ways. Either you pay in crypto or you pay in normal usual dollars, or it can be your money as well. That's the future that we are heading to. So if you look at the future, the phone, the very existence of phone will eventually have power like your computer. I'm not comparing computers which we use for VFX creation or development purpose. I'm talking about usual normal PC or laptop which is being used by maybe a C-level employee just to work on the office package and a little bit of graphic software. I'm talking about such kind of laptops and PC which will be translated and is translating into smartphones and will be translated into smart watches, and eventually in future we'll have a holographic projection utilizing simple camera through which you can work on the space. And I'm not talking about Iron Man stories. That's happening. Developments are happening, implementations are actually going through. It's just a matter of time. Within a couple of years, you will see those devices in the market. And people have to adopt such kind of devices. Otherwise, as a policy, as a structure, if you look at technological innovation, if you look at implementation of NFTs, if you are looking at the entire metaverse as an ecosystem, or if you're looking at social media, the way it is evolving, it is more going towards your personal brand building. It is more going towards your personal company's structure building and asking others to come to those platforms and do the trading. And when you do international trade, you need to understand people. It's not easy. Trust me on this. When you are interacting with maybe a person from Vietnam, your interaction level with that gentleman or that lady will be completely different if you're talking to a Filipino will be different from the person who is from Germany, will be different who is from Italy. Until unless you understand people, doing and trading international business is a challenge. And what is the best way if you have a platform wherein you are in 3D avatar, you can handshake with each other, you can probably toast with each other, you can probably talk to each other, interact in a 3D platform and understand each other just like physical world. And that's the world that we are talking about. Adoption, trust me, is gonna take some time. India is always in a way of saying like is always a verge of accepting things very fast. But adoption of new technology sometimes takes time. One of the solo reason is if we look at Indian technological innovation, we are amazing in software. If we talk about software, but when we talk about our own hardware, probably it's the right time to come with our own smartphone manufacturing unit, maybe an Indian brand, which can make a disruption. We need probably AR glass manufacturing company, not only Reliance, we need much more companies who can come up with such kind of small innovative devices. We need devices like probably for disabled people. We need devices for people who can't speak, who can't walk. So these are the bigger markets. So think and imagine of those audiences which probably we are not targeting at all. We are just thinking gaming is all about kids play. I differ a lot. Probably you and me, we know many industry people who are using gaming as a technology to solve industrial problems. So we are not talking about gameplay as a casual gameplay. No, we are talking about basically the technology part of it, which can be integrated either in VR or in XR or probably in augmented reality, or maybe connecting the AI with the machine learning and then implementing that through a blockchain platform, and the device is probably a VR device. In today's world, we call all these things as a deep tech technology. Everything is interconnected. Until unless we interconnect with these technologies and talk to them, it's not going to be very cozy to give a groundbreaking solution, at least from India. That's my perspective.
For the longest time, we have undermined gaming or entertainment. I think we are getting into the world where we gamifying everything, right from your education to work to training, and people are understanding the opportunity it presents, the gamification of everything. And I think you gave a far out distant future of what the metaverse is going to look like. Yes, we're getting into a world where it's completely going to be digitized. There could be an AR glasses which could sit on a decentralized platform. I mean, the metaverse itself is supposed to be decentralized, because when Tim Berners-Lee designed the World Wide Web, it was supposed to be a decentralized platform, but right now it's a wall garden hidden behind paywalls. So I think we are living in an exciting space. And I guess going back to my earlier question, because these technologies are going to create humongous opportunity. It's going to create a huge economical benefit, and as a country, I feel we should be right there in the front line rather than playing a wait and watch game. So I'm hitting it back to the home. When I asked you the question, where does India stand? Does the Indian government need to take more proactive decisions into supporting the AR/VR ecosystem? And as an investor, where do you stand? Are you investing in AR/VR startups? Do you have plans in supporting the AR/VR ecosystem?
Eddie, I will go with the second question first. The answer is yes. I am investing into AR/VR, and I am actually already invested in 3 different startups. Although they are not from India, maybe many of your audience will not like my words, but in India, the main challenge is when they pitch, their pitch deck is not ready. Okay, it's not about raising funds. It's about basically marrying another person whom you don't know. And when the investor invests their money, it's their own hard-earned money. and we need our return back, and we need to have a confidence level on you that, okay, fine, this handshaking can be win-win for both of us. As a statistics, if you look at, as much as investment that happened in India or in the world, 60 to 70% cases, these startups didn't sustain. The sole reason is not about only investment, not about only the startup, it's the business structure that they have. Somehow they got an investor, somehow the investor invests money, it's not success. If you get the investment, that means your journey starts from that very moment. The fun factories and the fear factories, here we celebrate investments. We are not celebrating who is doing amazing, probably with or without getting investment. Once we start celebrating that, our country's perception will be changed. Now, coming back to your question regarding government, government has declared multiple layers of funds. Now, when I say it in my introduction that I'm one of the jury member for our Startup India Award, Startup India was not there earlier. Come on, we need to appreciate that, right? It's happening only for last 4 years. Thousands of startups are applying. From there, we are selecting hundreds of them. From there, we are selecting top people so that we can give them a little bit of grant and give them an option to ease of doing business, connecting them with multiple number of accelerators so that they can grow. So these things are happening. As a strategy, if you look at us, we are trying to give a platform for all those newcomers without ego, without thoughts, without talking things in the back, who is doing what. We are just giving them, okay, come, let's join hands together and let's see how we can grow together. I think that's needed. And that's happening in India, which is beautiful, which is absolutely beautiful, Eddie. And I have complete positive thoughts that the future generation will take the lead and take it forward like anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think you hit the point. In fact, you said something profound. That if startups can grow with or without investments, that truly will be, the success of the ecosystem. Yes, I think I should point out to you that there is some seriously awesome startups here in the country who are doing some really, really cool things. In AR, VR, MR. Since I'm invested in AR, VR, MR, they are building augmented reality glasses, virtual reality glasses, and I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, maybe we'll be seeing these startups in the global stage. At least from my perspective, since I'm so vested in this in the space, is that I feel that there should be a little bit more commitment from the government to support the future tech system, because I guess the larger the venture capital and the government support goes to maybe startups who are in the space of commerce or finance, and they kind of avoid AR, VR, MR, and deep tech because
I'll tell you why. I know where you're coming from. See, sorry about the straight answer, but sometimes we need to understand from the policy making team or probably people who are defining grants, they need to understand the bigger picture. So if we look at AR, VR, specifically AR, VR and XR as a market, it needs a boost. I agree. It needs a boost from the government. Probably if AR, VR manufacturing company or maybe a solution development company traveling abroad, 50% cost can be reduced by the government. Agreed. These things can be done easily. Next, taxation for these startups, if they are inventing something, should be completely wiped off. Actually, there is an option. Actually, there are government departments who are actually dealing with such kind of activity. Maybe many of us don't know that. But feel free to get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to connect with right kind of person, wherein you can get all these kind of information and maybe you can achieve it. Not only in India, if you are talking about you want some kind of help and strategic movement, wherein you can access grants in Europe or in Southeast Asia or in Australia or even in USA, feel free to connect AD. And if you feel that you have startups who need help, ask them to get in touch with me with your reference.
Lovely. Thank you, Arijit. I mean, definitely, I will definitely reach out because there's so many startups who are doing so many interesting things, and my intention is to grow an ecosystem because I believe that in the next few years, AR, VR, MR is going to create and open up huge economical benefits for in India. Where do you see this future? Because there's some exciting things happening. I mean, there is Unreal Engine, which is creating photorealistic content. You have said that in the beginning of the conversation you have digitized 300 characters, so you are at the right point of time to leverage the benefits of the metaverse, or this gamification of everything. So if you had to paint a picture of what the world or India is going to look like in the next 10 years, what would you say?
Why do you feel 15 years back we started taking real actors, we recruited them, we paid them to come to the studio and started converting them into 3D characters? Probably I saw the future. That time metaverse was not there, but Second Life was there. And I felt that probably in future, this is going to be huge when the internet bandwidth will not be an issue, right? Now think about the business, where the future goes. I'll give you a live example. I'm an actor, or probably I'm a model, upcoming model, right? As a character, if I am into 3D and there are multiple brands who is utilizing my 3D avatar, that's the future we are talking about. I'll tell you why. As a human, we'll, of course, increase our age. We are not going to decrease our age, right? So I'm 40 now. I'm not going to be 35 in the next 5 years. I'm going to be 45 in the next 5 years. So my skin and my glory and the way I look will be completely changed. But if I look at a 3D avatar, I can do any multiple number of permutations and combinations. For a brand, if I'm popular in social media and I convert myself into a 3D character, it's easier for a brand to accept me the way I am, change my looks, change my hair, change my eyes, change my probably entire attire, and promote their brands utilizing my own 3D avatar. That goes in VFX, that goes in automotive, that goes in healthcare. Now, talking about healthcare, it's going to play a huge role for XR technology, specifically for health tech. Future is coming where you will have robots who will be doing surgery. We are watching it right now, okay? Maybe not many cases, but it started, right? That's the future we are talking about. A specialist will not lose his or her job. No. Rather, he or she will be more busier utilizing this XR technology, wherein using robotic hands and heads, he can do basic surgery in a different place altogether. Say, for an example, you are a surgeon, you are sitting in US, and I'm the patient, I'm in India. You don't need to fly to me, I don't need to fly to you. Given a choice, I have the all robotic arms and the facility here in India with all those hardware and your XR technology connected with the basic decentralized technology. This surgeon, you can operate me. Say, you're doing my eye surgery. It's complicated. Okay, let's make it simple. Probably you are going for a normal, very basic, crazy cut that I have in my hand. Okay, this you can do it utilizing such kind of technologies, and that's the future that we are going to face very soon.
Lovely.
I hope that answers your question.
Lovely. Thank you, Arijit. Thank you for taking time being part of the podcast. Wish you the very best. You're doing some really crazy and awesome work. Keep on doing your work, and may you get more success. And I guess the last note you mentioned that there's need for us to join hands, and because when we join hands, we can do so much more. And on that note, to my listeners, if you like what you see in here, please press the subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys. Bye bye. Thank you, Arijit.